Hey folks, welcome to Build at Home. I'm Ricky Camilleri. I'm joined right now by the great Tony Hale. Tony, good to see you.
That's
Thanks so much
questionable.
for, yeah, it is questionable exactly under the circumstances. Before we get started, I want to quickly say though that as of today, over 132 million school meals have been missed due to the coronavirus related school
Wow.
closings. The No Kid Hungry campaign has a plan to feed them, but they need everyone's help. So anybody watching who's seen this has a friend that they want to tell about, please go to nokidhungry.org to find out how you can help.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Tony, it's very nice to see you. I've talked to you a few times before. It's
Really?
unfortunate that we have to do it under these circumstances. How are you?
I'm good. How are you is the question. Are you in New York?
I'm in New York. I'm in my apartment. I'm okay. I'm healthy. I have a moment every now and then where I'm like, am I sick? And then someone will be like, no, Ricky, you're tired. You went for a run today. Like, don't worry. But I feel very lucky. I'm healthy, and
Yes.
I feel extremely lucky right now. Are you in LA?
I'm in LA. It's definitely it's a new normal for everybody. We're all kind of like, huh? What's going on? And it's
Yeah.
really, I've had to kind of, I'm sure you've had to, I've had to really limit my news consumption because it's not really helping the situation, just trying to stay present because so many narratives can kind of form in your head and you just have to, I worked with this therapist years ago and he would always say, whenever you find yourself living in the what if, just say not now. Just say not now. And it just keeps you present. So just not to live in the what if.
Oh, that is incredible advice. I'm going to steal that from you, not just in
Please.
regards to news, but I feel like I live in the what if
Oh
all the
yeah,
time.
sure.
Like,
It's so easy to.
and it's always like sometimes it's not even like what if I did this now or what if in the future. It's like what if I had done differently in the past.
Yeah, sure. It's very easy just and it became my default for many years where just kind of you kind of live in these whole narratives that either happened and there's nothing you could do about it or hadn't happened yet and it was like he would just say just walk around and just say not now. He would also say kind of find yourself touching stuff like touch a book or touch your shirt or
Well, actually,
activate.
I'm gonna say not now in regards to that.
Exactly. Say not yet. Now's not the best to follow that advice. But he would say kind of activating the five senses, where it was
Right.
like, what are you smelling? What are you seeing? Just to kind of keep you grounded. Because right now I think there's a lot of fear-based realities happening, and just gotta stay present.
Well, yeah, if you don't stay present, you start thinking about what the end game of all of this is, or
Sure.
how far it goes, and what it looks like in 3 weeks, and none of us have any idea, you know?
However, I will say this might get too meta, but hey, why not, Ricky? Why not?
Let's
Um,
go for it. We're in our homes. This is
but it's
casual.
but it's also I was thinking the other day it's like we never really know what's going to happen tomorrow, but we kind of in the past we've kind of acted as though we did. The
Hmm.
truth is none of us really know what's going to, so we actually maybe are a lot stronger than we think we are to handle this kind of uncertainty. We've kind of
Yeah,
lived in uncertainty for a long time. We've just never had such a tangible expression of it you
yeah,
know
that's absolutely true. And it's crazy how fast we are adapting, I think, as in terms of most people that I know are adapting quite quickly. It's sort of like, okay, I'm at home. What can I do at home? What makes me comfortable? Do I have to be productive? Don't put pressure on myself to be productive. Like everybody's kind of figuring out their best selves within this environment.
Totally, and I love that you guys are doing the No Kid Hungry because also a big thing is just kind of trying to get your eyes off yourself because
Yeah.
I think that's a real gift not only to the world but to yourself because when you kind of get in here and just think about this, I can kind of get into a fear-based sense a lot. So nice just to kind of think about others.
Yeah. What are you doing to keep yourself busy while you're at home?
Oh, I'm just eating. No, um, so funny you ask. Little Debbie snack cakes. No,
So specific.
no. I well, I have a 14-year-old daughter.
Mm.
So I think it's really, I mean, talk about a new normal. It's everything is kind of homeschooled, and I'm really grateful for the schools that really trying to adapt. And she's been good. It's all about structure, just trying to give her structure. She's not able to see her friends anymore,
Right.
and kind of even though all kids complain about school, you still have that interaction. You still have walking to class and all that kind of stuff. And so just to kind of create structure for her, that's been a lot of our attention lately.
Do you
But
guys do you guys go for walks right now or anything, or do you pretty much? I go for runs right now, but that's the most that
yeah,
I really get outside.
yeah, we do walks. We'll walk down the street, walk back. Um, the whole social distancing thing. It's just it's wild, and I'm sure you've talked about this a lot. Just how quickly things can change,
Yeah.
and it's just I think all of us are in a state of like, what this? You sure this isn't a movie? It's that
I mean,
kind of thing.
the weirdest thing was Saturday afternoon going out for like a quick walk, actually to go get beer, and
Yeah,
and,
sure.
and on my way, it's Saturday after a beautiful Saturday afternoon in Brooklyn, totally empty. The street, it's like hard to even know what day it is because you're kind of like, is
Yeah,
this Saturday? This is supposed to be Saturday, but this isn't what Saturday has felt like for 20 years for
yeah,
me. It's
yeah,
completely different.
yeah.
Yeah.
That is strange. I was telling somebody else, it's also these kind of waves, and I'm sure you have these kind of waves of anxiety
Oh,
that
of
hit you
course. Yeah.
where you're just kind of like, what? And like you wake up at 3 a.m. and just going, what? And one thing I've been doing, I love that I have all these tools for anxiety, but one is called the box breathing. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
Where you just kind of it's like you take the sides of a box and you breathe in for 5, you hold for 5, hold your breath for 5, you breathe out for 5, and then you just kind of rest for 5. And what is it does, it just kind of slows your heartbeat down, which in actuality kind of slows your thinking down. Because at 3 a.m, sometimes you wake up and just the mind is racing, and then it's just a way you just kind of think of a box, just kind of ways that things slow things down a bit.
Guys, well, how old were you when you started utilizing a lot of these techniques?
I thought you were about to say, tell me, how many years of therapy have you had, Tony?
I mean, I kind of am asking that question.
How many years have I what?
Like, how old were you when you started utilizing a lot of these techniques or learning them?
I mean, I've struggled with anxiety since I was a kid. I don't think it was back when I was younger. It wasn't really as talked about.
Hmm.
So, I didn't really voice it much, but I think I'd struggled with it for so long. I think it was probably in the last 12 to 15 years really started to kind of engage in therapy about it and kind of tools, talking about it more. And, just the fact is kind of also the more you talk about it, the more you connect about it because everybody deals with it on different levels. So just, I don't know, I think probably the past 12 to 15 years is when I've really kind of focused on it.
Do you think that's one of the reasons that you perform anxiety so well? Like
Oh,
your
yeah.
most iconic characters are characters that are clearly living through extreme
Yeah.
anxiety.
Yeah. Which is, there's a part of it that's kind of, when you walk through stuff in your life that's not fun. We've all had crazy things. You're kind of like, oh, this sucks. But it's kind of neat to come to a place where stuff you've gone through can be used for stories,
Hmm.
and having walked through a lot of anxiety and just stuff in my life, when you can hopefully perform it in a way that's authentic because you've walked through it, even if it's in comedy, that's kind of nice to see a little bit of the benefit of stuff like that.
I imagine it's cathartic for you as well.
It is, and it's just fun. Like it's when you the thing about anxiety, especially with these characters like Gary or Buster. Buster was a little more extreme, but Gary on Veep is the thing about anxiety is like sometimes when it was played in the past, it's like, oh, I'm freaking out. What's going on? Da, da, da. But in actuality, my anxiety has all been very internal.
Of
It's
course.
all in the head. It's these kind of states of paralysis where you just kind of things just freeze. And so Gary would just stand behind her in Veep, stand behind Selena, and just be in these almost just fearful places of anxiety where everything is nonverbal. Like and actually, she didn't even allow me to speak. She called me a bitchy mime at one point. So it was just everything was in the face.
Well, that's like in reality, no one really knows that anybody suffers from anxiety except for the closest people to that person. Like you never hear a coworker say, "Oh, that's Gary, he suffers from anxiety." You hear like a husband say that or a wife or like a
Yes.
father about their child.
Yes.
Everybody is hiding their anxiety as much as possible.
Yeah, and I think now more than ever, it's like I'm going to get this quote wrong, but it's kind of like be careful what you say, because you never know what someone's going through. Like
Absolutely.
everybody is going through something. We just don't. That's not what Instagram tells us, because Instagram is always the perfect picture that they choose. Facebook is as well. So it's like, everybody's going through crap.
Yeah. I want to talk about Archibald's next big thing, season 2 on Netflix, but you mentioned Veep, and I'm curious. I know you guys are all pretty close as a cast. Most of you
Yeah.
live in LA.
Hmm.
Have you guys been in touch at all, like since this sort of lockdown has started? Have you reached out?
Yeah, we've definitely reached out. We text a lot.
Yeah.
Hanging out, we haven't. I think the last time we hung out was maybe I saw Julia. Maybe I'm actually about a couple weeks ago, before kind of everything was locked down. But we do
I was
text a
gonna,
lot.
yeah, I was gonna say you can't really hang out right now.
I know we can't hang out.
You can do this. You could Google Hangout if you wanted
Oh yeah,
to.
let me tell you right now. Google Hangout, Zoom,
Yeah.
FaceTime. Oh, that I just think that it's so funny. Not funny, but I think for many times I kind of poo-pooed technology, like, oh, it's isolating us and everybody's on their phones and it's just taking the. But man, you go through something like this and you see the real benefit and the real
Absolutely.
gift that technology has been to be able to connect with people, like these Google Chats and FaceTime, where you just see all the faces on the screen and you're pretty much. We've had these like parties, where someone's birthday. Like the other night, it was my friend's birthday, and my wife and I are just sitting on the couch, and everybody has a glass of wine, and we're just having this kind of cyber birthday party, and it was the wildest thing, but it felt very kind of natural, which is great.
Have you found that your daughter is connecting with her friends via Google
Yeah,
Hangout as well and
yeah,
Zooming and stuff?
and as a parent, that's like I'm incredibly thankful for that, for her to have that interaction.
Yeah. So tell me about Archibald's next big thing. First and foremost,
Sure.
I was watching it and I was like, oh, of course Tony Hale does a voice on a children's cartoon. This is probably how he started his career. And then I looked at your IMDb, and that's not
No,
necessarily true. You didn't start as a voice actor, but that
no.
just makes sense to me that you would have for some reason.
Oh well, I like. Yeah, I really, I will say, this is working on this show has by far been one of the biggest joys of my life. I think I might have chatted with you about this last time, but years ago when I was doing Arrested Development, I got my kind of dream job. Great cast, great writing, and I found myself I was on this job, and I was still looking to my next job, and I was like,
Mhm.
wait a second, what's happening right now? I'm going to get to the end of my life just having looked to the next thing. So my friends Tony and Victor, we did this children's book called Archibald's Next Big Thing, about how we're always looking to the next thing and missing where we are. And now the show that I do with my friends Jake and Drew and Eric and DreamWorks, and it's on Netflix, has been such a gift, because Archibald now is a chicken that he sees everything like it's his big thing. And I think I get so excited to talk about this now, because this chicken has pretty much become my role model, because he tries to see the best in everyone and the best in every situation. And he also kind of has, every episode, he kind of has a plan. He's like, all right, I'm going to do this. But then life just does this with him. And he's
Mhm.
like, all right, let's just go with it. And he just has this great attitude about it. And I just like, I just love this little chicken, especially now. I don't know if I still have, I have a little stuffed animal of Archibald that I just stare at every now and then.
I mean, I love that. I love that philosophy of life, which is being adaptable. Like I heard an interview with RuPaul on Fresh Air a couple of weeks ago,
Yeah.
where RuPaul said the greatest gift that you can have, or the greatest skill that you can have in life, is being adaptable. If you can be
Mm.
adaptable to any situation, you can grow and you can become successful in any way that you can't even imagine, because you're able to
Yeah.
just adapt to what's around you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And man, that's a great word. That's a really, really great word, because also not ignoring the fact it's hard. It's hard when circumstance. I'll admit, I like control. I like to have, or at least the idea that I think I'm in control. I like things to go my way. And then when a wrench is thrown in it, you're like, what? And you just have to take a deep breath. And as Archibald does, he's like, all right. But he's also not pessimistic about it. He's like, let's go. He's just like, let's try it. Let's see
Yeah.
what happens. And even in this situation, I'm so grateful, with my family. It's just that, but we've never had to have this this perspective of we've never been forced to stay home together. You know, it's like, I mean, we see each other, obviously, we're a family, but when we can't leave, you know, it's like we play games. You know, we have in the afternoon, we do like yesterday we did, and we try every day to do it. Not every day we do, but like we do like a this video dance class.
Amazing.
And so it's my daughter and my wife and I. My daughter's very embarrassed by it, but she's getting over it. And we just kind of like do this dance exercise thing. And it's like, that would never have happened if we didn't have this situation. So I'm learning a lot from Archibald. I've been learning a lot from him for the past 3 or 4 years.
When did the books start?
The book started, the book, so it was longer than that. The book started, I think it came out 2014.
Right.
And then, and it was a great experience, but that was kind of the thing, like, yeah, I wrote a book, and then just kind of, it was fun and moving on. And then my friends Jake and Drew had come to see me do a reading of the book at this place called the Last Bookstore in LA. And they came up to me and said, hey, what do you think about doing this as a cartoon? And I was like, that's a fun idea. But then we just kind of played with the idea. And then as it began to materialize, DreamWorks really was so gracious, and I didn't know anything about animation. So they really kind of took me through the steps. And then that's when Eric Fogel came on board, who's just an amazing artist. And we've worked together for the past 3 years, and it's just been an absolute joy. It really has.
Was there a part of you that wanted to make sure that Archibald didn't in any way feel like a stand-in for you? Because one of the things that I was surprised by is the way that you change your voice for Archibald. It's like, I can hear that it's you, but I can also hear you doing something very different to create a specific character.
Yeah, I wanted him. It's weird, like, since I've been with him for so long, having done the book years ago, I kind of just always had this voice in my head, not even knowing it was going to maybe one day be a cartoon. And I wanted him to kind of have a little bit of a New York edge to him. And he's a little like Forky on Toy Story, but he's a little higher pitch and a lot more wide-eyed. And he's just super positive. And just, I think, just so open arms, just open to everything. And that just comes along with his voice, like everything. He's just wide-eyed and ready, you know?
Is that something that you kind of touched on this, but something that you wish that you were more of at one point, or are more of now because of Archibald?
Yeah. I think I'm definitely more of it now, having worked on Archibald. Because we've done many episodes of the show and finding storylines and new characters. And when you're kind of in this world, you can't help but it just kind of morphs into your mindset. And it's like I need a little bracelet that says WWAD, like what would Archibald do? Just because it's just this kind of attitude of, you know what, it happened, and let's just go with it, and let's just try to be positive about it. And I think a really big thing, and Forky was kind of like this in Toy Story, which I really appreciated, was Archibald does not put a what's the word, kind of the judging book by its cover. He doesn't put an image of somebody or something on it that everybody else does. He just doesn't have that awareness, and neither did Forky. And so he just, like, we have an episode where they meet kind of a Bigfoot-like character, Archibald, and the whole town is scared of him. And Archibald's just like, hey, how's it going? You want a cup of tea? You know, and I think, and that was kind of like on Forky and Toy Story, when Forky, there was a character named Gabby Gabby in the movie who was she was a thrift store doll voiced by Christina Hendricks. And she was kind of gave off this creepy vibe. And everybody else was like, ooh, Gabby Gabby. But Forky just, he came into this world not knowing anything. And so he was just like, hey, her hair looks pretty. So he just goes up and starts talking to her. And because he made that connection, therefore you begin to see Gabby Gabby's vulnerabilities. And then she wasn't this kind of evil doll that everyone made her out to be. And it was a beautiful lesson of, like, when we take that step to go beyond what kind of stereotypes or people think of something, it's amazing the whole worlds that opened up. Sorry, I just turned into like getting on a soapbox.
Honestly, it's like an extremely positive soapbox, and I think that's like what, not to sound corny, but that's what everybody needs right now, is like an extreme positivity and consistent positivity. I'm curious, you said that in the writer's room, are you heavily involved in the writer's room with the show?
Yeah, I've got some amazing, amazing writers. Well, Jacob Moffat, Drew Champion, who helped create the show with me, Noel Lara, Ellie Guzman, and Charlie Shoup, and and Eric Fogel, and they will write these fantastic scripts, and then I kind of come in and edit and punch up jokes and find the flow and kind of keep the vision and tone on track and stuff, and as well as they do as well. And it has been such a blast. I absolutely love it. I love it. And all these animators that work at DreamWorks, like they're just such artists. Like they really, with the work that they do on the show and the work that that they do on the show, and they just they work so hard and they're so detailed. Sorry, somebody just came in and gave me something. I got distracted. But it was, I don't know. I just had a whole new appreciation for animation and what these artists do. It's been pretty awesome.
You know, I have to ask. Veep ended last year, right? But it was last year that Veep ended, or the year before. I think it was last year.
I think it was last year. I think it was.
Yeah, I think it was last year. So
you have a tattoo on your elbow?
Yeah, I do. I don't know if it says only child.
Oh wow! Are you an only child?
Yes. No, I actually did that to spite my siblings. I hate them so much. You don't even exist, guys. Yeah. I'm an only child. Okay. It's a drunken mistake from when I was like 22 years old. But I hold on to it because I feel like if you're going to ink a mistake in your arm, you deserve to hold on to it forever.
Do you mind me asking you a question? Did you have a good experience as an only child?
Oh, you only have a daughter. She's an only child.
I have a daughter. Yes, I just have an only child.
I had a great experience as an only child. My parents are both quite wonderful, caring people. They doted, but not too much. They were there for everything, but not too much. Nice. We're very different people, so I think there was like a bit of a clash, and probably still is. But I didn't have the only problem I ever had with being an only child was when I got older and people would go, "Oh, you're an only child? Of course," and you would be like. And it'd be like, I'm not even doing anything that would showcase my only childisms to you. You've just met me.
Let me tell you right now, those same people are going up to other people and saying, "Oh, you're a first child? Yeah,
exactly.
Oh, you're a last child? Yeah, that makes sense.
Oh, you're an Aries? Of course, I totally get it. It's like you don't know anything.
Everybody else.
Yeah. I'm curious. So Veep ended. Veep kind of, and you sort of said this before. Gary, kind of a more grounded version of Buster, different characters, but definitely two, I think, of the same coin, just different variations of that type of person. Is there a part of you that looks towards your next live action parts in the future and is sort of, I mean, how do you go from the greatness of Arrested Development and Veep into the next project, unless you own it like you do with Archibald?
Yeah,
I mean, I work on it.
Yeah, I mean, in all honesty, because when it came to Arrested and Veep, I'm incredibly grateful. That was, I don't know if I was in a place of like, yes, I want to do this and this and this, and I don't want to do this. Like I was so thankful for a gig, and they happened to be amazing gigs. Like I was incredibly grateful for the material. So I think for the next project, I mean, I'm pretty excited. I'm doing this show called The Mysterious Benedict Society, and it's for Hulu. And it's based on this series of children's books or young adult fiction, and I'm really excited about it because I play this kind of wealthy benefactor who sends these kids on these secret missions, and it's all about empathy, because there's this kind of other institution, this quote evil institution, that is sending out these negative messages to society all the time. And actually, the guy who's the head of this institution is my identical twin brother. So I'll be playing Benedict and the evil twin brother.
Oh, nice.
And so I really am excited. It was brought to life. Well, oh gosh, hold on. I think I have the book right here. 1 second. I've been going through it. Yeah, here's the book. This is the book.
Oh, cool.
And the author, Trenton Lee Stewart, just is a fantastic writer. And then the two guys who have brought it to life are Phil Hay and Matt Mendretti. And I'm really excited about it. It's going to be on Hulu.
And you're playing you're playing identical twins, one evil, one.
One
That sounds like a lot
evil,
of fun.
really fun, and definitely a challenge. And I just love what the story is saying, because I think I mean, for me at least, I mean, I would say all actors this way. Just finding that thing that you can resonate with in a story is so key. I remember even Buster. I remember going up to Mitch Hurwitz and saying, "What do you think Buster wants in life?" And Mitch and Mitch said, "I think all he wants in life is safety."
Mm.
And there was something that was an interesting kind of through line that you could always do in the characters. In Gary, he just wanted, Selena's love. Like it was so it's finding, like, I don't know, and I love these characters. I'm excited to find like what these characters want and all that kind of stuff. It's fun.
Before I let you go, obviously people should watch Archibald's Next Big Thing, both seasons on Netflix. But what are you watching while you're at home? Are you watching? Are you reading anything? How are you keeping busy?
This is my goal. I'm reading through this for the show, and then we each night, my wife, my daughter, I pick the show to introduce to the family. So I picked Schitt's Creek
Oh, nice.
to introduce them to that. I saw that they were interviewed on AOL Build.
Mm-hmm.
I love those people. So they're going to be. We just watched the pilot 2 nights ago. And then my wife is introducing us to Gilmore Girls.
Oh.
And then my daughter chose Survivor. And there's like 40 seasons of Survivor.
She knows what she's doing to you guys.
Exactly. She's like, this is going to be our life in about 2 months. We got to figure it out.
That's great.
Anyways, so that's kind of what we've been doing.
Amazing. Well, Tony, man, it's really good to see you. I'm glad that you're hanging in there and the family's bonding and doing well with the dance games and with the TV shows. And it's really good to see you. I'm sorry again that it was under such circumstances.
Well, dude, I really appreciate you taking the time.
Of course.
You're such a good man, sir. You're a good man.
Oh. Well, it's easy. It's easy when somebody else is a better man. So.
Oh, okay. Well, that's what I was doing. I'm so glad.
Tony Hale,
thank you so much, brother.
Yeah, you too. Stay safe. Stay healthy, please.
I will. All right. Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.